Everything was acquired legally.
Will you stop that?
Will
you stop that?
I'm an officer, I have integrity.
Shut up, you're not good officer. Will you get up?
The video of Wike confronting a military officer was not the real story. It was only a glimpse of something bigger happening in Abuja.
Why are you coming to take over poor people's land and allocating it to rich people?
For some months, residents have complained about sudden demolition, seized lands and valuable plots quietly moving into the hands of people close to the minister, including his son.
A report by People's Gazette alleged that Wike allocated 2,082 hectares of prime land in Abuja worth an estimated $3.6 billion to his son, Nyesom Wike.
In this video, we're going to be going beyond what started as a viral clip and dive into a deep question. Has one man taken control of the Abuja land system, and who is going to stop him? Is it the presidency? And why are they even silent in the first place? Before we ride on, don't forget to like and subscribe.
The Wike is a popular name in Nigeria now. Everything you are doing, that's what? Wike.
Talking about who is actually Nyesom Wike, who he was before becoming the minister in Abuja. No doubt, Nyesom Wike did not arrive in Abuja as ordinary minister. His rise in Nigerian politics has always come with weight, influence, and the ability to force outcomes that favor him. Before becoming FCT Minister, he spent 8 years as the governor of Rivers State, one of the richest states in the country at large. During his tenure, he built a reputation of being confrontational publicly, aggressively, and willing to challenge anyone who opposed him, including members of his own party.
Power, they know the dashable. Did you dash power? Power is what? Taking. I'm ready to take it.
His transition from Rivers State to the Federal Capital Territory was not an accidental one. It was a political reward and a strategic placement. During the 2023 election, Wike openly worked against his party presidential candidate and aligned himself with the current administration.
Are you concerned that Nyesom Wike could become a political liability?
Nyesom Wike is a performing minister.
Appointing him as the FCT Minister was a way of securing his support and giving him a seat close to the national power. But the FCT Minister is not like the other ministries. Whoever controls it automatically gains access to some of the most valuable real estate in Nigeria. No doubt, Abuja lands, estates and districts that are worth millions or billions of naira pass through the minister's office. This includes approvals, revocations, relocations, and the power to demolish structures declared illegal. In wielding this authority, Wike has something no governor enjoys. He doesn't answer to any state legislature, and Abuja has no elected governor to check him. The FCT Minister functions almost like the governor of territory without the political limitation governors faces. That means individuals in that seat can reshape Abuja with very little resistance unless the presidency steps in.
Who thought he can talk? You're not the only one. You have to be careful. Stupid. Because I came there to talk to you. I don't need to talk to you.
Now, if you ask the question, why is the president very silent about the whole thing happening? Now, let's look at the allegations of how Wike has been allocating lands in the Federal Capital Territory, which is causing a stir among the people in Abuja. If you must know, the company at the center of Abuja land issue is Juak Farms and Estate Limited, with Juak being the name of Nyesom Wike's son. Imagine that, the son of the minister being in charge of this whole thing. The company was registered in late 2024, and not long after, it started receiving unusual large land approvals inside the Federal Capital Territory. One of the allocations that raised major concerns covers about 2,082 hectares of land. This land stretches across some of Abuja's most valuable and fastest growing areas such as Matama, Asokoro, Guzampe, Buhari, and Gaduwa. Officials who reviewed the file say the approvals to grab these lands came in a very quick time, one after another, until we got to the point we are now. People who understand Abuja's land market estimate the total value at around $3.6 billion in dollars. They arrived at this figure by using the current price of land in those districts and multiplying them by the number of plots that make up 2,082 hectares of land. But it's not just the size or the value of the land that worries the people of Abuja. It's the way the whole process appears to have been handed over. Several files are missing documents that are normally required. In some cases, there is no proof of ground rent payment. In others, survey fees are not recorded. A few titles look incomplete or were not properly registered. These are basic steps in any land allocation, and skipping them can make the approvals invalid or questionable in court. These are also reports of land being reclassified. Some areas that were originally marked for public use, institutions or community purpose were later listed as revoked, reclassified, and eventually allocated to companies linked to JUAC. All these issues raise legal and ethical questions. If a public official, directly or indirectly, benefit from land allocation that do not follow due process, it may go against the rules and code of conduct for people in such positions. Civic groups and some insiders believe that the size of the allocation, the speed of approvals, and the missing documents make it necessary to carry out a proper independent audit. Wike's office has denied the allegation. They say no residential plots in Maitama or Asokoro were given to his children. According to them, the approvals being mentioned are for agricultural land in Buhari, and JUAC farm received the land illegitimately for farming work. They also say some of these documents circulating online are false or altered. But despite these denials, the allocation files, the huge land estimates, and unresolved questions remain. That is why many people are still calling for a transparent review so that the public can clearly understand what is happening. Talking about the institutional and social impact land grabbing is causing in Abuja at the moment. No doubt, the land decision made under Wike's tenure have created direct consequences for residents, workers, and institutions in Abuja. Let us break it down one after the other so you can understand better. Firstly, when land is reassigned or revoked, residents in affected areas face displacement. Communities in developing 6 streets report losing spaces originally planned for housing, schools, or public facilities. These changes create fear around land security, especially for families who have lived on certain plots for years and suddenly face demolition or relocation threats.
Already down the road, already making their way down here. I mean, how can you do this to that's been existed for 5 years.
Secondly, loss of public land. Large portions of land that were set aside for public use are now reported to be entering private hands. This reduces the space available for future public projects and forces the government agencies to compete for the land they once controlled. It weakens long-term planning because agencies must rewrite development plans every time allocated land is taken over. And thirdly on the list is unpaid salaries in FCTA departments. Why these land allocations are happening? Several departments under the FCT administration, including water service, environmental units, and broadcasting, have reportedly unpaid or delayed salaries. This creates a contradiction. Major land assets are being distributed, yet core public workers responsible for essential service are struggling to get paid. And fourthly on the list is clash with other institutions. One of the clearest examples is the dispute with the University of Abuja. The school claims that thousands of hectares allocated to it for academic expansion, while Wike argues that the land must be reclaimed. This puts an entire federal university at risk of losing areas meant for classrooms, research farms, and hostels. The conflict shows that even federal institutions are not safe from sudden land takeovers. Fifth on the list, which is the military officer incident, which has brought us to talk about this topic. The confrontation with a military officer over land reflects the same pattern. It shows that land enforcement under Wike is carried out with force and confrontation rather than coordination with other state institutions. The video became symbolic because it highlighted how land issues in Abuja have escalated into power struggles, not administrative processes. You can see how these actions being carried out by one man can weaken confidence in Abuja land administration. Residents feel unprotected, institutions feel exposed, and public workers feel neglected. The system begins to look like a personal power tool rather than a structured public office. In conclusion to all this, why you should understand why this is a national matter despite the silence being carried out or being seen by the federal government. The situation in Abuja is not just a local problem, it has implications for the entire country. When a public officer uses official authority to benefit personal or family interests, it represents a serious abuse of public office and public trust. Citizens expect government resources, including land, to be managed transparently for the public good. When those expectations are violated, confidence in the entire system declines. Abuja as a capital has its unique role. It's meant to serve as the administrative, political, and symbolic center of the nation. How land is governed here sends a message to the rest of the country. Allowing high-valued land to be redirected to private individuals undermines the credibility of federal land governance. It signals that rules can be bent if someone has political power, eroding the principle of equality under the law. There's also risk of creating a dynasty. Reports suggest that some of the most valuable plots in the capital are being allocated in ways that favors Wike's children. If these allegations are accurate, it will give one family disproportionate control over critical land assets in the nation's seats of power. That level of influence is unprecedented and could have long-term political, social, and economic. And finally, the scale of this allegation and the public response make this a matter that cannot be ignored by the presidency. The president has a responsibility to intervene, to assess the facts and ensure compliance with the federal regulations and protect the integrity of national institutions. Because if he continues to allow the situation to continue without oversight by not making these ministers accountable for every action they take, then it will be an emboldened similar behavior across other states and ministries, creating systematic risk for governance in Nigeria. And how does that serve the people who voted him into power? So what do you think about this whole thing? Do you think Wike's movement or pattern is the right way to go about it? Drop your comments, and if you love the truth and want to be part of the truth, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye for now.